afternoon. This is Joyce from early on in Lanark County, and this afternoon we've joined with you to make Play-Doh. Some of you might know Play-Doh as something that looks like this. Play-Doh is actually a material that was developed over 60 years ago, and it's this soft, squishy material that's really fun for children and adults alike to play with. And because we're still using it 60 years later, we know that its value is still here. So we'd like to let you know that you can buy Play-Doh or you can make it. And you can make it with just some common ingredients at home that we're going to start using. So to begin with, you're going to need flour, and we've already poured the flour into a bowl so that when children are going to measure it, they don't have to struggle. And we're going to start with the recipe. When you're cooking with children, it's a good idea to have the printed recipe with you, even if you don't need it, because using the print helps children to develop an awareness of literacy. And we're going to refer to the recipe with children. So when we're making Play-Doh, we're going to start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And when you're measuring the flour, you can start with a measuring cup that's manageable for children. It can be one with a handle or one without. And you're asking the child to do that job on his or her own. So by scooping it into a container like this, it's much easier for a child to be able to be successful. And we like to use real tools with children. This is more child-sized to level off that first cup of flour. And then they can pour it themselves into the bowl. For the second cup of flour, I would suggest using a 1/2 cup measure. So we're showing a child that this big cup is equal to 2 of these size cups. So again, you would let the child know that they need to add another cup of flour, but it's so small that they're going to have to put in 2. So again, the child can scoop and the child can level. There's our first one. And one of the benefits of cooking with children is that you can really focus on some of the math components. So let's count them. That's 1 cup. Now let's add another cup. 1, 2. When scooping becomes difficult for children, that's what you can provide them with other tools to be successful. So I've got 3 different size spoons. I would let the child choose which one you want to use to get all of that flour out of the bowl. If they choose this one, go ahead and let them do that. By letting children make their own decisions about what they're using, you're showing them that you trust them and that you believe that they can learn on their own what tool is best for them. I also have an adult-sized knife, which I would also offer just in case they want to try using it. So we've added 1 big cup of flour, and then you can tell the child now we're adding 2 small ones. I'm going to put that in the bowl. Let's look at our recipe. And we let the child know that the very first thing, the 2 cups of flour, are already in the bowl. So now we have to go down and see what's next. This sentence says we need 1 cup of salt. So you can ask the child to look around. What do they think is salt? Take a look at the ingredients and take your time with children. Let them look at the box, pick up the box, read the box. Once you've determined that this is the salt, you can look at the measuring cup, and instead of using a 1/2 cup this time, we can use 1/3 of a cup. We're looking at, with older children, the ratio of cups. That 3 of these would equal 1 of these. So we'll count again. That's 1. That's 2. And we need 1 more. Oh, I don't have enough. Can you find something, I might ask, to scoop with? This time the child wants to try this one. And of course, because we're in no hurry, we can just patiently let somebody scoop away. And level. So we added 1, 2, 3 cups of salt. Now, this is kind of important to have when you're cooking with children. The washcloth is here so that if somebody gets something on their hands and it feels uncomfortable, instead of disrupting the activity to go wash, they can just at the table wipe. Everything is good and you're ready to carry on. So we'll look at the recipe with the child and say we've done the first job. We've done the second job. Can you remember what they were? Flour and salt. And now we have to do the third job. And it says 3 teaspoons of cream of tartar. So again, based on the same principles of trying to encourage children as they get older to realize the ratio of measuring, the first teaspoon could be a 1 teaspoon measure. Here's the cream of tartar. We're going to add, and you can remind them to level. I'll count. There's 1. Let's do another one. There's 2. And let's, on the third one, be a little tricky, and let's use a smaller spoon. Do you know how many of these make one of these? 2. So let's do it. That's 1. And that's 2. So refer to your recipe, and you can say, we did this one, flour, we've done this instruction, salt, and we've done this one, 3 teaspoons of cream of tartar. The next thing we need to